Hello, I'm Manoj Kumar. I work for Nidesic. I have around 9 years of uh, development experience on various Microsoft technology and platforms. Today, I'm going to discuss about BizTalk Server, Microsoft BizTalk Server Fundamentals. What is BizTalk? BizTalk Server, commonly known as BizTalk, a premier messaging-based integration tool used to integrate heterogeneous environments. So heterogeneous environments means environment which cannot understand each other, which are created in different time and on different technology. So we need some tool to integrate them so that they can talk to each other. It is one of the most trusted ESB, Enterprise Service Bus engine in the world. Enterprise Service Bus is something which does the same job. It integrates various systems. So BizTalk is an ESB engine. As for the Microsoft strategy, this BizTalk is proposed as a central platform for enterprise application integration, EAI, and BPM, business process management. So integrating enterprise level application and managing various processes, business processes. The traditional way of integrating various systems are using web services and XML. BizTalk offers much more powerful integration tool and features which can be done through XML or web services. It allows connecting diverse softwares, graphically creating and modifying process logic monitoring processes. So graphically creating means we have something called orchestration, which can be used for managing business process. It is kind of a workflow of various activities in the business. BizTalk consists of various tools like business process management orchestration tool. It has business activity monitoring, BAM. It has health and activity tracking. It has Microsoft's business rule engine integrated, and there are other configuration and administration console to manage various artifacts of BizTalk. So we'll see in real world how BizTalk can solve a problem and try to understand what is BizTalk actually is. So imagine we have a call center, we have other systems, CRM and e-commerce, ERP, some systems in mainframe, right, in Oracle, and in central we have BizTalk server. So BizTalk here can talk to all other systems and can help them integrating for any enterprise use, so that all systems which are very independent can be used collectively. Again, try to understand more more about the internals of BizTalk. So BizTalk heart of product is the BizTalk server engine. Two main parts it has. One is messaging and other is orchestration. Messaging provides the ability to communicate through adapters with other software applications. So adapter is a key part in messaging. So, for example, we have adapter, file adapter, we have WCF adapter, we have FTPs, we have Oracle adapter, so we have adapter to connect to JD tool enterprise application. So these adapters helps BizTalk to connect to other systems as well as receiving messages and sending messages. And then orchestration. Orchestration is ability to create and run graphically defined processes. So we have like workflow of various activities. So there are steps for various activity which can be used to create a graphical defined workflow. So it is like managing your business processes. So if you see here, business activity monitoring is also done. If you want to like monitor various activity which is happening in BizTalk server, that can be managed. Then we have BizTalk server, where orchestration and messaging are two main parts. And then other business rule engine is integrated with BizTalk server. Health and tracking activity, health and activity tracking tool is also integrated. And there is something called enterprise single sign-on. This is for authentication. So this can be also used along with BizTalk. Okay, now try to understand why to use BizTalk. So imagine some kind of a business problem, like connecting diverse systems created at different times using this similar platform and technology. So these are like systems which are created with various technology and did in different times. So with time, technology changes. So there can be many legacy systems which cannot understand each other, very heterogeneous. So how to make any legacy system to talk to newer or old legacy systems as they communicate using different protocols? There can be a problem like achieving efficient enterprise application integration and B2B integrations among organizations. So there are like human resource to system created in different technology. There are finance system. There are operation system. There are various kind of systems which are created at different times, and there might be systems which is out of the organization, which should also be connected. And there may be a large organization which is like spread over various geographies. Then also we need to have some kind of a efficient enterprise application integration. So these are the problems which can be solved by BizTalk. So BizTalk is apt and very powerful tool to solve these problems. How? So to connect diversified systems, it has several inbuilt adapters, like adapters for WCF, SQL, MSMQ, SMTP for sending emails, file for pickup and drop any files, SOAP adapters, Azure adapters, a very good way of using Azure along with BizTalk, SAP, JD Edwards applications, ODBC, and so forth. There are many. Then we have something called BizTalk accelerators. It is a RAG tool for developers to help significantly reduce the time required to develop a custom business solution in a specific industry such as healthcare, finance, services, or supply chain management. So there are many things which is repetitive So Microsoft is providing accelerators for them. So it has kind of a very common business process features, a very common way of integrating with other systems, right? So kind of like healthcare systems, which can be used by many companies like financial services, or maybe supply chain management systems. So which has a kind of a very common kind of features, and which can be used to um, create like in the specific industry system specific to a company, so that it takes less resources and very less time for the development. Then we have so BizTalk provides faster development at lower cost. Several capabilities are provided out of the box, like there is something like persistence is very important. Like if messages are sent between two systems, there should not be loss of any message. So persistence is very good with BizTalk. There is something called correlation of asynchronous messages. So two messages which is asynchronous, which can be correlated together. Recovery of failures and communication. It has like a lot of mapping and support for long-running transaction monitoring, like that. It allows developers to focus on implementation of business flow and its integration. So developers are not worried about how to manage transaction, how to persist the messages, and how to handle failure. So these things are not they need to implement. These are there out of box. So they focus on implementing business flow and thinking how to integrate various systems together. Okay, so when to use BizTalk? BizTalk can be used to simplify and automate interoperability in order to reduce cost and error. So there are two systems which cannot talk to each other. So it can be used to automate that with less cost and error. It can also used as tracking, like to understand business process and performance, how my business processes are running and how they are doing. This can be tracked like any order processing system. It can track how many orders are processed per day, things like that. So there may be with time various business processes changes. So something called business rule engine is integrated with BizTalk. So it can guard application from effect of change, which can be very frequent and which can be throughout the system. So it helps in flexibility and manageability of the application. It is very flexible. And in system there can be redundancy. So there are many things to achieve something. You need to write many stuff, so which are very repeated. So it can be used to integrate. It can be used to integrate so that it reduces redundancy in the application and in the overall system. So there are trading partners. There may be two systems in different organization. So it can automate the business interactions between two partners. Okay, let's talk about BizTalk user base as of now. BizTalk has more than 12,000 customers worldwide. So it's a huge number. It is present in 81% of Fortune Global 100 companies. It is 6 out of 8 largest pharmaceuticals, 4 out of 5 largest electronic part manufacturers. It's 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It's like present everywhere in any industry, in any domain. They will find BizTalk solving their integration needs, integration problems. Let's talk about BizTalk evolution. So BizTalk first version came in 2000, and then continuously we have improved BizTalk server with much more robust features and much more number of adapters to integrate various systems, legacy or new systems. So you can see like we have releases every 2 years, even 1 year. So the BizTalk Server 2006 was one of the very powerful, and then you can see we have BizTalk Server 2007, first version to utilize WCF, Microsoft WCF services, and then we have BizTalk 2009. So as per the change in like continuous improvement in various other technology, BizTalk kept pace with that, and we have newer and newer version every year, almost every year. Now the latest version 2013 will work on Microsoft.NET Framework 4.5, and it has very good it has very good adapters to connect to cloud, Azure cloud, and it can also run in cloud as so these features prove to be critical for any business. So BizTalk is continue to grow stronger and stronger. Let's talk about a little bit about BizTalk architecture, high-level architecture. So BizTalk server messages are okay. Here BizTalk messages are received through receive port. So receive port has receive location. Where is receive location? It can be one or more. And once messages are received, it is processed. And it is processed. It can be applied. Maps can be applied. Maps is like converting a message type to other message type, and then message can be stored in the message box. So receive port is one of the important feature which has receive location and adapter. Adapter processes the message through various pipelines which is present in adapter. Maps are applied, and the message, generally in the form of XML, is stored in message box. So this storing happens through publish and subscribe pattern. So messages are published to message box. Now there can be subscription defined for those messages. So depending upon the subscription which is defined and stored in message box, it can be again like consumed by orchestration. So orchestration can subscribe to any of the messages which are stored in message box, and it can process the messages. And then finally it can create a new message and again publish to message box. All these messages are it cannot, like we cannot update the messages. So again, messages can be published to send port group or any one send port. So send port is something which again receives a message. It processes through the adapter and the pipelines present in that, and then finally maps are applied and it is sent to outside to the outer systems. So send port group is nothing but collection of send port. That's like an email distribution list. So messages are sent out. So this is the simple architecture which BizTalk follows, and for receiving messages, processing it, and then sending it back to the same system or to any other system. Now I will talk about various terms which are used in BizTalk. BizTalk message. Message is nothing but data file in any format like flat file or XML. Messaging. Messaging is flow of messages from receive port to send port through pipelines and adapter. So messages come to BizTalk from receive port, and then it gets transformed, it gets translated to XML and then transformed to any other format, and then it is stored in message box and it's sent through any send port. So this is all called messaging. Orchestration is capturing business interaction through steps. So it is something like workflow of various business activities. Translation is when BizTalk receives a message, it gets translated via pipelines into XML. For example, XML. So that is called translation. Then we have something called transformation. Transformation happens when message is ready, is created, and then one message type will change to another message type. So schema is different for those two messages. So there can be internal message type. So we can use transformation to modify source schema so that it matches to target schema. It is done through mapping. That is called maps. There is also one term called publish and subscribe. So all communication in BizTalk happens through publish and subscribe pattern. Then we have message correlation, capturing and passing data values between asynchronous messages. We'll go through all these details in later screencast. Routing is like once we receive a message, then it has to move to their subscribers, like that. So moving a message to subscriber through subscription or filtering. Then content-based routing. So routing a message based on envelope. So based on envelope or receive port configuration properties. So we have content of the message, like there may be order. So order message. So it can have order ID. So we can route based on order ID, or we have if order is of more than a limit, then it can be routed accordingly. So using the content of message it can be routed. Routing failure. So if a published message has no subscription available, then it can lead to routing failures. Message box. Message box is a SQL Server database storage for messages and other details related to publish subscribe. So messages are stored, published into message box. It is stored there. So it provides persistence of the messages. So no messages can be lost. And then messages, we have details like what all send port or orchestration or services have subscribed, what type of messages. Those details are also stored in message box. Message agent is a COM component that provides interfaces for publishing, subscribing, or retrieving messages from message box. Message context. Message context is very important property, which is a set of promoted properties available for routing or distinguished field in the orchestration. So when a message loads and in the memory, there is something called message context. What type of the message? What the receive port name, or maybe we can promote like for order message, we can promote order ID, we can promote what is the customer name. So those promoted properties become part of message context, which can be available in messaging, like when we need to route, when we need to subscribe a message. Similarly, distinguished field. We'll discuss about all this in more in detail in messaging. So distinguished field is like adding in marking any property as distinguished, so which are again part of context, which can be accessed in orchestration. Again, going further, some more terms. Promotion. Promotion is promotion of message properties creates decision points and become part of message context. Whole message must be loaded to be integrated so that it can be found. Okay, what all message properties are marked as are promoted and available in context, and the property size is limited to 255 characters. Then we have something called distinguished field. It is a lighter way to access message property in orchestration. We have dehydration and rehydration. So when any orchestration instance or orchestration instance is not used, then we can and is not used and it is idle for a long time, then it can be stored in message box, so that like it frees memory and we have better performance of BizTalk. Then something called rehydration, which is just opposite to dehydration. So rehydration is restoring the orchestration instance and running it from the point it left off. So once it receives a message or timeout expires, so it tries to again rerun the orchestration instance which was saved in DB. Pipelines are sequence of message processing steps like encoding, decoding, assembling. So pipelines are part of adapter, which is used to process the message. Functoids is advanced concept of mapping message transformation. So we have many custom we have out-of-box and custom mechanisms to transform data and mapping through extending accessibility. Flat files. You will hear about flat files. It is like uh, data or message in CSV format, or comma separated, or separated by position, like that. And we have adapter adapters are as edge connectors, so which connect BizTalk to other systems. And then something called grid preview, which can be used to locate maps, links, punctuates on grid area of orchestration. Some more terms which are generally used in BizTalk: endpoint manager, the service responsible for managing and managing send and receive port actually, and it also acts as intermediary between ports and message box. BRE, Microsoft's business rule engine. It provides easy maintainability of business rules. BizTalk provides very sophisticated way to manage multiple interaction features such as scalable state management, message correlation, long-range transactions. So it is business process integration. BPM through orchestration, business process management, business activity monitoring. It gives visibility to automated systems, which is done through BizTalk, and how systems are performing. Then health and activity tracking, a web-based user interface that can be accessed over HTTP to see tracking data and monitor the progress of business processes. And then we have a single sign-on, managing multiple credentials for automated processes, so that all authentication can be managed against Windows user ID, like that. Okay, now we'll talk about what all we require to develop on BizTalk platform. So various development tools. So we need BizTalk Server Developer Edition. Then it will provide me various artifacts. BizTalk Server Administration Console, BizTalk Server Configuration, Rule Composer, Deployment Wizard, BizTalk Server, BizTalk, BizTalk, WCF, and Web Publishing Wizard, Tracking Profile. These are the common things which are provided, which are part of BizTalk Server. So, like BRE, Rule Composer and Deployment Wizard, which is part of the business rule engine. If you select, then it will get installed along with BizTalk. We require Visual Studio, any version, 2008, 10, or 12. We need SQL Server, 2008, R2, or iWeb. So these are the things which we need to work with BizTalk. Okay, so now I will walk you through what all things we require and which is provided provided as a requirement, system requirement for BizTalk. So I will browse through this link. So here, this link can be used to download BizTalk Server 2010 Developer Edition. You can see Developer Edition. It has this is the BizTalk 2010 Dev environment, 512 MB. So you can ask IT department to download it for you, because it is almost 550 MB, a big file. So you can go through, if you can check, we can go through system requirements, what it requires. So I will increase the font a little bit. Yeah. So it requires 32-bit platform or 62-bit platform, then 2 GB of RAM minimum required for it, 10 GB of available hard disk. Okay, and then what all things we require to use BizTalk Server 2010. So any Windows 7 or other Windows Server 2008 like that, SQL Server R2 or SP1, 2008 SP1, then BizTalk Server for .NET Framework 4 or 3.5 SP1. So like that, various things are mentioned which we require, IS version 7.5 or 7, and then you have like instruction to download. Everything is given. So this link is quite useful to download and install BizTalk Server on the development system. And then to install it, download and then extract BT 2010 dev environment exe, run setup.exe under BT server folder, select what all features like BRE which are not selected, and then configure user and database by running BizTalk server configuration. So I will show you BizTalk server configuration in some time. So yeah, like let's go through a little bit overview of what is BizTalk, what is BizTalk configuration, administration, what all databases it creates when you install and configure BizTalk. So once you install BizTalk, then you need to first run BizTalk server configuration. Okay, so here you can see I have already configured BizTalk on my system. So if you are doing first time, then it will ask you in place of this screen, it will ask you, okay, what is the username? Then you need to provide your domain name, username, and the password, and some database information, which database server you want to use, like that. So you can see you can also export configuration. So whatever configuration you have, it will get exported in XML format, which you can use. You can load a configuration also, right? Then if you see overview, then in the overview it shows, okay, what all things are configured for the BizTalk in the current system. So it has configured SSO, enterprise SSO groups, BizTalk group, then BizTalk runtime environment, BizTalk business rule engine, integration is done with BizTalk, then BAM tool, business activity monitoring tools, and then other runtime like BizTalk EDI or AS2. So these things are configured successfully on this installation. And if you want to see what all things are configured under each of them, then enterprise SSO, you can see this is the database, and which Windows service, which name, enterprise Windows service, enterprise single sign-on service. There is the name of the service. It is running under corp manoj.kumar. So like that, what all Windows accounts it is uses, so, and what all Windows groups are there. So those details are there. You can see like enterprise, you can configure this. Then what all BizTalk groups which are configured, then it once you configure, it creates all this group like Windows Server and BizTalk Server administrators, operators, B2B operators, like that. And then what will store? It creates BizTalk Management DB, BizTalk Message Box DB, like that. It creates in the server whichever you mention. In this case, it is it creates on the local server which is there on the system. Then you can also check BizTalk runtime environment. So what is the host name? This will be used every time. Host name of the BizTalk server. Then you have like what all accounts it are using. Then in like that for BRE and BAM tools. So it is a place to configure your BizTalk. Now we'll run BizTalk administration console. So BizTalk administration console is a place where you manage your applications. You manage, you track what all messages are processed, or if any problem in the system, you try to debug, like that. So it has BizTalk group, one group created. So if you expand it, you will find applications. So under applications, you will find various applications which are deployed as of now in the BizTalk server. So you can see by default it will show all artifacts, BizTalk system, and BizTalk application 1, BizTalk EDI application. So these 4 are by default. And if we deploy any application without a specifying application name in the property of project, it will deploy everything under BizTalk application 1. So you should be careful about it. We'll have that deployment demo in the next screencast. Then you have parties. So you can define various parties like a different organization. So if you expand, if you open this Microsoft party represents a trading partner, typically an enterprise organization, but can be used to represent businesses, business processes, systems as well. So parties between which BizTalk is doing the integration. So you can have parties information, and then what all profiles are there for a party. So for example, Newdesic and Microsoft. So Newdesic can be a vendor for Microsoft, or sometimes Newdesic can buy services or products from Microsoft. So it is acting as a customer. So those two different kinds of profile for Microsoft, which is acting as a party in this case. Similarly, you have Newdesic, where customer and vendor are two business profiles. You can have agreement created for any business profile. So you create agreement, you provide, okay, what is the first party, second party. This is a kind of agreement between two parties which is involved in this in any of the integration done by BizTalk. Okay. Similarly, if you go into platform settings, here you have information about host, what are the host name, and then you have host instances, then servers, on which server it is hosted, BizTalk is hosted, then what is the message box DB it is using, and then there are like various adapters which are configured by default. So you have file adapter, so what it can do, it can send and receive direction. So similarly you have various other adapters, for example SMTP adapters. So you can go to this, double click this, and then you can configure your SMTP adapters. So it is to send email from your BizTalk to other systems. So you can configure what would be the SMTP server name, so it will connect to that, and then what is the from address, should be the from address. So generally like no reply @org.com or any organization.com, like that. So if you need authentication, then provide authentication information here. So we'll go through little bit in the application. So in the application you can have your application defined and deployed. So for any application, BizTalk has a set of folders by default created. So you can see all these folders which are created. Orchestration. So the orchestration which is created for this project will be under this. Then you have like what all send ports are created, receive ports from which messages will be received from outside. What will receive location is used by receive port. So if you open this port, if you go to receive location, you will find this receive location is used by this port. So a port can use multiple receive location. And then what are policies? If we are using Microsoft Business Rule Engine, then we can define policies which can be which can be consumed by orchestration. And what are schemas which are created under the project and deployed. So all things are deployed in global assembly cache. Then maps, what maps are there, pipelines and resources. So these all things are part of BizTalk. Then you have event viewer. If anything goes wrong, you can check application events, or you can check system events, like that. We'll check now the BizTalk server administration. Okay, this one. So here you can query. So for example, you want to search a message, search for messages. So run this query. So it will load. So here you can query what you want to search. So search for what? Okay, search for equals, or you want to do equal. Okay, and then what you want to search? You want to search for subscription, suspended or running service instances. If any problem occurs, so if you want to check if subscription is working fine, if messages are getting routed correctly. So this is the place where you can create your query and run it to get the results. And then if for example this is suspended, then double click this, then it will open, and then you can go through. Okay, this is the message type, message ID. So it has the details about the message, and then you can see what all things are there in the context, right? Promoted properties as well as other properties, message type, all these things are there, and message parts, like that. And there is like in group hub, you have some queries by by default. So you want to see suspended message, so just you click on that, you will see all the results related to that query. You have other query like that. So these are very useful tool. Suspended service, running service instances, so you can check and you can debug your problems while running any application in BizTalk. So this is the basic introduction of BizTalk, and in coming screencast I will discuss about I will discuss more about. Okay, one last thing, I discussed about BizTalk. So there must be some competition. If this is a good tool which is serving 12,000 customers worldwide, then what is the competition? So there might be some drawbacks, like it has a steep learning curve. So it takes some time and generally some kind of experience to start learning BizTalk. And so it has steep learning curve and cost of deployment is higher. And I think as we go more towards cloud, this cost will also reduce in future. So what are the competitors of BizTalk, Microsoft BizTalk server? It has its own competitor in .NET framework, .NET workflow, Windows Workflow Foundation. It has like Windows Workflow 4 is very powerful. Windows Workflow Services. You can create, you can manage your business processes, business activities. Then other, but here you need to create everything from scratch. So that involves different kind of cost. Then other tools, other ESB products like IBM WebSphere, which is quite popular. Tibico has integration products, which is very popular in the market. Other products in open source also, like NService Bus, OpenMQ, Apache Mule, and then OpenESB from Oracle. So there are various other competitors which is competing against BizTalk, and BizTalk is doing reasonably very good as of now. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to next screencast. So please join me in next screencast where I will discuss more about messaging, and then in the next one about orchestration, and some other screencast will discuss about business rule engine. So stay tuned. Thank you.